All right, hello everyone. So let's take a look at the market today. This is the 30th of August. Now, this is yesterday with gold. Now, with gold, this was the resistance line there at 1925 and 21. I will get rid of these now. Let's get rid of them. Well, I'll keep that there because that's still relevant. Okay. And the market sold off from there. Now, I said yesterday this is going to be a bit choppy here because we had those aspects where the market will get choppy. But at the end of the day, it was a bit choppy, still came down. This was a zone I said where you could look for a reversal, but the market broke down. So if you entered to go long here because we wanted to go up yesterday, you would have been stopped out with a tight stop loss. But if you waited for the technical level, okay, then that was like the way to go. Okay, this was also not a bad level because this was Asia opening. So the market coming down to retest Asia opening and then going up was also logical. So that's why if you got stopped out here, that would have been like, part of the game. Okay, getting stopped out is part of this business. And so the market came down all the way into this zone and then as you can see went all the way up into the targets. Now yesterday I did make a comment. I said once the market moves it should go all the way into the evening session. As you can see, that evening session was done and then we ended up here in the evening, really at closing here. Now today's Astro hours are here, so what we want to do is take a sell down in order to go up. Okay, now this is a place where the market can swing today. This is your 6:30. Okay, we've got hours at 7:50, 9:17, but these are going to be choppy zones, pretty much like, when the market makes a choppy zone here. So if the market does make a change around here, the market should then, push in a direction where the market should get an adjustment level. And there should be some disruptive move here in this zone. So you need to be careful in this zone from 7:51 to 9:20. And then we've got this period here, which is like not a bad period. So if the market comes back down, it will want to fill in some spot. This is why I want to keep this on. Coming down into 1925 to push into 1950. This is not a bad idea. The same push can come around the daily pivot as well. But, got to be mindful that there is a gap here. Okay, there's a gap here. If it doesn't come all the way down here and just keeps going up until Thursday and, maybe into Friday, that's good for us because then from the highs we can sell off. Remember, gold, is kind of sensitive to the moon. So we're going into the full moon on Thursday. And, I did say Friday is going to be another swing day for gold. I said Monday and Friday. So if you went long on Monday from the lows, you're still in the game. On Wednesday, you should be laughing. Okay, why? Because this is Wednesday, that's your Tuesday, and that's your Monday. See, Monday, big push up, comes back. Tuesday retests the low. Okay, unfortunately, we'd never an Astro hour here on a general astrological basis, but the market moved up, and you can see we had those targets there. So once we got the direction in school, it's pretty, easy to follow through. You can go in that direction. Same kind of thing again now after market pulls down into these levels into Astro hours here. Also the New York session is going to be nice. For example, 3:55 and that 6 o'clock zone is going to be nice. And once if a swing does happen at those hours, like at 6 o'clock, or between 4 and 6, if you find a slot where the market will make a U-turn, it should give it a push until the closing again. Right, so if the market comes back down, there should again be a good push up because we're getting good impulse waves up. They're breaking structure. So once the structure has been broken, coming back to retest and then going back up, it's kind of like the way to go. So today we could have a bit of a retracement. You can play that retracement here with a smaller lot size if you want. And if we come back down into those levels where the market should turn, we can then go back up again. Same kind of thing with SB 500. Okay, now remember I said this is a zone we'll want to target. Remember yesterday I said, wouldn't it be interesting if we went up for a double top and then the market started crashing down? Well, that's the possibility now. Remember, once the market breaks out, you don't want to be standing in front of it. So on a pullback, you want to be following that through. Okay. Now, yesterday, I was hoping the market should come back into an Astro hour down here. towards the weekly or whatever. It didn't really do that. But if you take a look at this on the daily, yesterday we had this as a target, so we want to go up into that zone. And on the weekly, I drew this as well. Remember, if you're using your ATAM strategy, I drew this specifically. I said, look, there's a market will want to come back and push up. They'll want to come back and kind of like meet where the wicks are. All right. And this is exactly what's going on here. And if you take a look at this, this is on the weekly, the lower that is 4528.30. So 4528, let's say, is a bit more up here, isn't it? 4528 is around there. Okay. And then also you want to check your swing days for all of the indices. You can match them together as well. And then what have I got here? We've still got a bit of room to go up. But this zone, okay, this zone is going to, when it comes back up, we're going to be sellers again. So this was an initial target to go up and then to think about selling. But once we break out above that, you want to go for those targets. Okay. Now the target on this LCL1 is 4555. So I'm going to put that 4555 up there again as well. 4555 there. All right. So that's also going to be a target zone for us. Okay, so coming down to go up is good. A lot of gaps here. If it goes up first, it's even better because then we'll have to come back for a retracement, and that could be on Thursday as well. Like I said, the full moon can take us up somewhere. September is going to be really interesting and good for us because we'll be able to take the tops and start pushing down. Okay, I also wasn't kidding when I said the market can go for a double top. If it does do that, that's going to be really good for us as well because we'll definitely want to start selling here, and it should go on at least all the way down to here and probably even more. Okay. Now that we're above this level, above the blue, you don't want to be thinking about selling too soon. Now we can get rid of, well, I'll keep that here, but the reason I want to keep it here is it'll come back for a support to push up a little bit, and if it does, there's still room to go up. So if you want to come back to 54, that's your good buy case at 4475. If you want to go long at an Astro hour, it's going to be your daily pivot today. So the market, if it comes back down here into this zone, you can push up. I'm going to get rid of this so we don't get confused, but I'm going to move it down here because you see this is where the market took off. Okay, so that 4465, 4475 zone is still going to be a good zone to go back up if the market decides to come down. If it doesn't, and if it keeps going up, then we're setting ourselves for a sell-off. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Now this is the euro dollar yesterday. These were the levels where they were Astro hours. As you can see, the market came all the way down into the zone where they bought before and then just shot up. Here the market came back down and up again at the Astro hours, going all the way into the targets. Remember, I gave these targets from before. So from the lows here, we said we could go down. This was the first place where you want to be careful because that was a PST level, the opening and the daily pivot. This was all together. Okay, now today's daily pivot is obviously not here. It's going to be there, so let me just refresh this. All right, so that's that. So the market can again come down a little bit in order to go back up, but let's see where we're at on the daily. Okay, now remember with the euro dollar, I said we got room to go up. So if it does come back down, you can go up, and that's what the market did. Came down on the Astro hours, but as you can see, I didn't have that 330 level yesterday. Okay, and I didn't check euro dollar specifically, but this is 4 o'clock. What's 4:15? I didn't have yesterday 4:15. Okay, I had 5:40, which is there. All right, so the market kind of like rocked up into that zone, came back down, but this is how it is. Now, we were expecting the market to go up. Okay, I put those levels yesterday. They were all good to hit, as you can see on the PST level as well. Okay, um, not much now to talk about. Also, we always said this is a support zone and a demand zone. You don't want to be mucking around, selling around here. And we're right along the Venus line here. But the general trend is down, so the market will want to sell off. If we go up again, you want to be a seller. Let's check out the weekly here to see if we can get our heads on a price. And there are two prices, 52 and 55. So that's going to be 1.0996. 1.0937, so we've still got a bit of room to go up actually. Now also, if you take a look at the weekly here, it's right on the trend line. Okay, so you don't want to be selling obviously here, so going back up into that zone again to do a good buy kiss to sell off is not a bad idea. Remember, I said this is a 1 2 3 4 5 move, so we should have an A B C deep down, which should take us back to close the gap here. So we should at least get to the 37.5 zone. Okay, so if the market goes back up again, a selling off down, I think, is the way to go. Okay, and that's just how it is. Okay, so if you want to buy at Astro Hours as well, you can when the market comes down and follow it towards, let's put these in there, 1.0980, 1.0937, okay, is there. So we still have a bit of room, as you can see, to go up, and it's nice that we've done the targets here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this now, and this, because these are all pretty much from yesterday. Okay, so the market made the target. If we come back down a little bit more again, fill in the gap on the weekly as well, retesting the weekly, retesting the daily pivot, or from around here at Astro Hours, it's not a bad idea. To first Astro Hour of the day is going to be at 6:30 here, but just be mindful, from 6:30 to 9:17 it's gonna be like, the market, I'm expecting the market to have some moves in there, so the market can be a bit disruptive. Okay, so wanting to look at trading around 11:20 to 12 o'clock zone, and then from 3:55 to 6 o'clock, and then once the market makes a move, it should be pushy. All right, so look out for hours after 6 o'clock, from 6 to 8. It should have a pushy move, and then the market should go to a target around 10:30 to 11:45. So be mindful, it's going to be again with a bit of moves during the day and in the New York session as well. But the market's okay to be going up. Also, I said in the beginning of the week, you can always go to your 1 hour chart if you want to follow something on your ATAM strategy. Here we are. All right, so this is your 1 hour chart, as you can see. So once the market is like breaking out, the pullback into the PST level is the way to go. Now, what would have been yesterday is you would have had this yesterday. Okay, in that zone here. Come on. Okay, I'm just going to do this. Okay, you would have had this zone yesterday. Okay, and as you can see here, okay, it's down here. All right, so the market would have been on this line yesterday. So if at the Astro Hour you bought on that 1 hour, it would have been a bit unfortunate. As you can see, they've just dipped down, took out the sweep the stops here, and then went back up. But that's like on the PST as well. If the market comes back into the 40 zone, all right, then you can like follow a move up. So that's the impulse wave pushing up, then coming back into the 40s or slightly under as well. This 40 to 20 range is where you want to be looking at to get back in the game on the 1 hour chart if you're going to look at the daily again. So here as well, for example, we're on the 1 hour chart. If the market comes back down a little bit more, now we want to be in between 50 and 40, 40 and 60. We want to be around here. It's like the market comes down, then we can give it a good push again, or you can wait for a setup. Okay, wait for the setup, find a logical place on a pullback, and then bounce off the game. All right, bounce off the PST level. It's got room to also come back even more, but this is gonna kind of like go up first and then come down, looks like, and that's logical as well. Like I said, this is a beautiful move down. We want to wait for an up move to sell off, and then we should be coming down again as well. So this sudden move up should also attract a sell-off too, because the market is selling down. Also, you can draw your lines as we always do from top to top. Okay, as you can see, that gives you a nice guideline where the market should sizzle down. We should come to fill in that gap, and that's going to be around 1.0822. So the market should kind of come back into this zone here, 1.0822, or a weekly pivot there, which is pretty close. All right, so that's basically it. The highs you want to be selling, the lows you want to be buying. Okay, let's take a look at Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and Bitcoin. Right here, now indices, as usual, they all go together, and that's fine for us, not a problem. It's just a matter of choice which one you want to trade. Dow Jones and SP 500 are more kind of stable. Nasdaq, as you know, is like it's on steroids. It's like all over the place. All right, now here's the Dow Jones, as you can see. Now these were the Astro hours for the market yesterday, and as you can see now, we're in this kind of zone here. Well, this is pretty close, as you can see. The market came down to that level and then started pushing up from there onwards. And that's your 2 o'clock there. Like I said, I didn't have anything at 3:15 when the market started moving around at 3 o'clock there, 3:15, and that was it. And then that's your 3:30 there. But that's pretty much on the technical side of things. So if you missed out on it, it's, what can I say? We were expecting the market to go up, so this is why I put targets there. As you can see, 34,722 and the market going up. And I said we still have targets up there as well. As you can see on here, I said once the market breaks out, don't stand in front of a PST breakout, because what you want to do once it breaks out is come back to a level to go to a target, and this is the zone we had. All right, so we're expecting the market to push up. So if you bought on the pullback, you would have been fine. The only misfortunate thing here is the unfortunate thing is I didn't have anything at 3:30. Right, so that's just basically how it was. But if you entered on the 5 o'clock session, because I did have, what did I have? 5:30 to 6:11. All right, this is your 5:30 to 6:15. That's your 5:45, 6 o'clock. So if you entered on the pullback here to go up, then you would have been, pretty much safe. Okay, it would have been fine. We've still got targets up there, as you can see, but it's pretty much done, a lot of the work. So here you got a bunch of targets, and you're already in the zone. All right, so be smart, because remember I said we'll want to fill in this and become a goodbye kiss, and I also drew this yesterday. It's a goodbye kiss, so we should dip into this blue zone and then sell off. So there's still a bit more room to go, but this might get a little choppy since we've got targets pretty close to each other. All right, so be smart. The market's already done its move. You want to follow it through, be conservative and prudent, and be, on the lookout. And then we're going to go into the 1st of September. We've got full moon tomorrow. And then once the market starts moving into September, it's going to be, it's like going to be pretty full on. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ, there you go. Same kind of thing here. Okay, this is the same thing, 330 there, and what we did have also was at 5 o'clock. But you can see this is really like on steroids. It's just kept pushing up and up and up. And I talked about these targets. The market made all of those targets. Okay, so not much to talk about. If you entered around the 245 zone, like I said yesterday, what was it, 145 to 2 o'clock? 145 to 2 o'clock. That's your 2 o'clock there. Okay, 145 to 2 o'clock is there. The market just dipped slightly under, and you can see it just like pushed up, went into all of those targets, and that's awesome. Okay, and this is why, seeing these targets are like really important. Now we've got a breakout here. So now you've got to be careful because we should hit a target on the weekly. All right. Like I said, if we go back up for a double top, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And if it did that, we want to be on top of our game and want to be selling off right at the tops. Okay, so today we've got this for the weekly, which is your HCL1, so 15722. I told you that was a far out target, 15720. I've marked it in here before, 15722. That was it. So if the market gets up into that zone, it's still a possibility. You can see this is a big push up. Now, once we get a big push up, the market wants to go somewhere. They're going to have to want to come back. So once we're at a target, you want to be thinking about selling, and that's going to be on your NASDAQ in this zone. Okay. It still has it. Let's see if it's broken that zone. It has a little bit. Maybe it'll sweep out the stops, but I wouldn't, like I said, stand in front of a PST breakout. The market can come back down to 15,348. 15,348 is there. If it does, this is the first support. Okay, and if it pushes back up there, you're looking to then sell next week. Now with Bitcoin as well, I suspect it did the same thing. Absolutely. Remember what I've been saying? This is not a sell zone. This is a buy zone. So the market should go up, fill in the gap, come to a target. Look how the PST is working here on the price. Right on the prices there and there. And remember in the video I said, make note of these levels because those are the targets that we're probably going to get up to. And those targets, as you can see, just bang, big move up. Now let's see when that moved. Now this one, well, finally, okay, so this one really worked at the Astro hour, as you can see. Okay, we had 145, and that is your, let's see what bar that is. There, 135, there you go. All right, so this was the zone there, as you can see, and the market just took off beautifully right into those hours again. Were they Astro hours? Well, the market made that top at 720. I had 611. Okay, and then I said closing as well. That's just 611 there. So it made there and then went all the way into this zone. And yesterday we had, pretty much closing. And that was it. This is your closing zone there. So that was also doing the targets. As you can see, we had those levels. So a big push up, really. That's a good gap there. And the market will want to look to go and start selling off somewhere. You can also do this. Okay. The market is also okay for you to draw these. If you learn technical analysis from me, you got your targets and so on. You could also do this. You could take this as a trend line too. Why? Because this is where the market touched the line most, comes and touches it, and that's it, pushing down. So it's all good. So from these levels, we also want to be selling. Don't rush into it because of Thursday, like I said, and that's it. It's good to see those all being done. Okay, so if we go back up again, right, which the market should kind of like retest these levels, go maybe slightly higher, then you can sell off again, possibly around this zone as well. Let me just see what I've got on the weekly, 56, 29,500. Okay, so 29,500 can also be a level. Then this should break. Okay, once they sell off, this should break. And that's what we should be looking at. Okay, and that's basically it. Okay, so we still got, like I said, room to go up. So the market can push again, but then we'll be looking to sell off. Okay.